Hey guys, what's going on? AngryLarry here with another edition of the Armbar, recapping Payback from this past Sunday night. The pre-show this time featured two matches. The first one being Dolph Ziggler beating Baron Corbin with a roll-up. And it never, ever will get through to me that you can convince me that you make someone look stronger by making them the monster in the match. Ziggler was selling everything. Baron Corbin was destroying him. And then Ziggler wins with a roll-up. And that's supposed to protect Baron Corbin somehow in the business and to fans. But to me, he lost. And he lost to a simple roll-up. If you're going to make Ziggler win, make Ziggler win. I hate roll-ups as much as I hate heel face turns for no reason and toasted Pop-Tarts. It's definitely one of those things that gets to me. What I'm finding interesting about watching Payback is I can see every single one of these matches or a variation of the match, combining some of them, as an Extreme Rules match later on in the month. So it seems like it's a throwaway pay-per-view, and it's not spaced very far until the next pay-per-view, but it was overall enjoyable. So let's continue with the pre-show. Your U.S. champion Kalisto defended his title against the Ryback. Now, you're not going to ever hear me say this often. Ryback stole the show. Ryback was great. The pre-show stopper. His entrance, mocking CM Punk in Chicago, hysterical. Now, I am not a Ryback supporter. I don't care for him too much, but the guy took a lot of heat from CM Punk. CM Punk called him out. For him to do that in Chicago and throw a little shade, as the kids say, was hysterical. And it set the tone for the match where it was a Ryback doesn't really care. He gives no Fs. He came out, he destroyed Kalisto, he did moves I'd never seen him do before. He looked like a monster. He looked better than Ryback's ever looked before. Now, Kalisto still won in the end, so you had two matches in a row on the pre-show where you had the monster fighting people he destroys, only to lose in the end. But there's something going on with Ryback here, a contract dispute. Ryback is not happy with the offer WWE is giving him. Vince is giving him another offer and basically told Ryback, hey, if you don't like this, just go home. Ryback went home. Ryback was not on Monday Night Raw. Ryback was supposed to win the Battle Royal, the U.S. title Battle Royal for the number one contendership, not for the title. But he went home. And he blogged, and he posted, and he ranted, and he makes a lot of good points. Now, stay tuned for the GNWC Game & Wrestling Connection recap. Not really a recap, but our weekly show. We'll be recording it Thursday night. It will go live sometime Friday or Saturday on YouTube. GNWC Official. Check that out. We're going to have a lot to say about Ryback and a few other things that happened during this special. So, again, Ryback looked great. Don't really care for Kalisto in his title run. I really hope this title gets off of him soon and gets hot-shotted around, because there's a lot of people in the company that need elevation. And that goes to what Ryback was talking about as well in his open rant. So check out the weekly show and we'll just move on here. Excuse me. A bit of sad news here. Not really sad news, but unfortunate news. The match between Enzo and Big Cass versus the Vaudevillains for the number one contendership of the tag team titles ended in a no contest. Enzo Amore was going to slide out of the ring off an Irish whip, I believe, and he slid either too late or didn't give himself enough room to slide. His head bounced off the second rope and rebounded hard into the mat as he was sliding and hit the floor on the outside. So the whiplash of the rope, the banging of the head on the ring apron, and then again landing hard on the outside, Enzo seemed to be knocked out. Now, I'm not going to speculate on what exactly was going on at the time Enzo got knocked out, or presumably knocked out, if he couldn't feel his legs or whatever. But bottom line here is there's good news at the end of all this. Enzo Amore was released from the hospital later that night, suffering a concussion. And I want to say only a concussion, but concussions are bad enough, I should know. But it could have been a lot worse. So it's good that he's okay. Hopefully he's okay enough to resume a wrestling career thereafter. A lot of people's careers have been cut short for concussions in all the sports, and it's something they treat very seriously now, and hope for all the best, because they were hot. They were hot coming in, and they were still hot Monday night, even if Enzo wasn't there with Big Cass. So unfortunate situation, which led to a no contest in a short match, and then they had to creatively stretch the rest of the show, and we'll talk more about the ways they did that on the GNWC Weekly show. So moving on. Kevin Owens beats Sami Zayn, his longtime friend and current arch rival. Again, because he beat him a couple times in NXT as well. So, once again, Kevin Owens wins. Once again, Sami Zayn loses. After the match, Kevin Owens called in Byron Saxton to interview him and took the interview over himself. And then said, yes, I will join you at ringside. Which put him in the announcers table for the Intercontinental title match where The Miz defended over Cesaro. Now, during this match, Sami Zayn came out and attacked Kevin Owens. Those two fought on the outside while the match was going on the inside. Eventually, it led them both to the ring apron. At the same time, Cesaro put on the crossface. The referee turned, tried to get him off the ring apron. Miz was obviously tapping with the ref's backs turned. Cesaro lets go of the hold, knocks Owens and Zayn to the floor, and then The Miz wins with a roll-up. And there we go. 2 roll-ups in one show. After the match, Kevin Owens just basically destroys everyone. Lays out Sami Zayn, and then goes to deliver the pop-up powerbomb on The Miz, and Maurice saved The Miz by pulling his leg as he was rebounding off the rope, bringing him to the outside. It left Owens in the ring with the title, which he gladly held up to the fans' delight. Now, Ambrose defeated Chris Jericho, and this is going to be another match that's going to be replayed again and again. Not because redone again and again, I should say, rematched again and again. They're going to fight on Extreme Rules. No, not official, no stipulation. Monday Night Raw was alluding to it, though. Ambrose won when he basically countered the Lionsault by putting up his knees and then hit Dirty Deeds. After the match, Jericho threw a little bit of a tantrum, a la his heel days in WCW. And then took to Twitter, and I think it was the next morning he took to Twitter and said, "Goodbye WWE, it's been real." But he was on Raw. And he wasn't like a surprise return, and it wasn't even like 12 hours later. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't even 24 hours later. So I don't know what the troll's about, and it's becoming one of those things. It's becoming a pet peeve. It's coming up there with roll-ups and heel changes for no reason. The whole trolling, the whole Finn Balor, I'll see you Monday night, or the whole Chris Jericho, goodbye WWE. It's like there's no long play. And it's nice to have additional insight into the wrestlers' lives on social media. It was nice to see Kevin Owens in the hospital with Enzo Amore, a picture of that. But at the same time, it's also the misleading and misdirection and misleading people and the trolling that goes on with it. It's kind of a hindrance to me. And I'm in the minority here. I really dislike social media on this level. I want to watch my wrestling inside the wrestling shows. I don't want to know who is or isn't going to be on the shows outside of the show. I don't want to know, who's debuting or match results and stuff like that. I don't want promos on anything that's not a TV show. I mean, they have a lot of hours of TV, and I would love to see some of this stuff there, and I would like to see misdirection stuff not be happening, especially by the talent. If there's no long play, they could do it. If there's a long play, they could do it. Jericho could have said goodbye and then 3 weeks later reemerge. Like, you really thought he was gone, but the whole goodbye and then back the same day Very Jericho-like, I guess. But at the same time, it had no point to it. So I don't know why it was even mentioned on Raw. Anyway. Speaking of pet peeves, here's something that's trending towards number 1 on my list. And that is not letting the women wrestle based on their own merit. So WWE has this approach where they take 3 steps forward in consecutive months with the women's division, and then they take 3 steps back at the same time. And this is a situation where they went backwards. You had a good match between Charlotte and Natalya, and you somehow have to cram Ric Flair there because it's Charlotte's dad. And he's a 2-time Hall of Famer. But he's an attention grabber. And you're basically saying that Charlotte needs Flair at ringside for the fans to care. On the opposite side, you team Bret Hart up with Natalya. Now, Natalya's dad is a wrestler too. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Why is he never out there? Well, Bret Hart's the Hall of Famer, so okay, bigger name, fine. He's out there with his niece. But then you do a reenactment of the Montreal Screwjob from Survivor Series where Bret Hart lost the title to Shawn Michaels when Vince McMahon had, them ring the bell. Not part of the match. Now you work the shoot again in this match. Why? To set up a rematch for Extreme Rules? Yeah, I guess. But why can't the women just wrestle? They did at WrestleMania. I don't think anybody didn't say anything less than it was one of the better matches on the card. They do in NXT all the time. NXT fans love women's wrestling because of it. It's dumb. I get it. But it's too much. It's every other month. It's 2 out of every 3 months. Let the women wrestlers wrestle. That's all I'm asking. And I'm sure people agree. And look, the referee was Charles Robinson, Little Nature Boy. The Four Horsemen's personal referee back in the WCW days. So they have something here. They're going to do anything long term with Charles Robinson being a referee who's always letting Charlotte win somehow. But at the same time, to do that in a women's division that only features 1 match pretty much every pay-per-view, you're basically taking the focus away from the women every single time then, if you're going to do that. So, I don't know. I'd really like this. They went forward with the women's title. They had a great match at WrestleMania. Now they're reverting back to the old diva ways, the diva tactics that the fans don't care about the wrestling. We have to do something else to dress it up, and that's unfortunate. But, oh well, we move on to the main event where AJ Styles beat Roman Reigns by countout. And then AJ Styles beat Roman Reigns again by DQ. And then Roman Reigns pinned AJ Styles. Now, a couple things on this match. One, the whole thing where AJ Styles wins by countout. Well, the match was restarted because before this match, the McMahons had their little powwow in the ring, and Vince McMahon said, hey, I'm going to leave control of Monday Night Raw to both of you. You're going to have to work it out. Mano y mano. I mean, a couple things on that. Well, that relate to this match. You had the match restarted after the countout when Shane McMahon came out and said, hey, this is not how we do things on my watch. We're going to restart the match. There's going to be a clear winner, no countout. So then Roman Reigns threw a accidental low blow at AJ Styles. Referee called for the bell. Stephanie McMahon comes out, one-ups her brother, and says, hey, Shane has the right idea, but he forgot no disqualification. This match will restart. No disqualification, definitive winner. Okay. Match restarts. Anderson and Gallows now come out, attack Roman Reigns. Usos come out. Even the playing field. Roman Reigns jumps over the top rope on everyone. AJ Styles jumps off the guardrail onto Roman Reigns. It's chaos. It's good chaos. It was a good match. The thing I don't understand is What does controlling Monday Night Raw have to do with restarting a main event match on a pay-per-view? It's not Monday Night Raw. Why do they have to have the Monday Night Raw moniker on the power struggle, the control? Why can't it just be you have control of WWE television? Why not? You can do stuff on main event, Superstars, SmackDown. Instead, you're just limiting it to just Monday Night Raw. But at the same time, you're going to control pay-per-views that's not Monday Night Raw, and make matches for future pay-per-views that's also not Monday Night Raw. That doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. We'll rant about that on the GNWC Weekly Show. Now, the phenomenal forearm outside the ring onto Roman Reigns that drove them both through sideways the announce table was just amazing. It was awesome to watch. AJ Styles is a phenomenal athlete, and Roman Reigns looked really good in this match too. AJ made him look strong, as you can say, since it is Chicago. But everything about this match worked for me, involving the wrestlers. Anderson, Gallows, the Usos, Styles, Roman Reigns, everything meshed so well. And I'm glad there wasn't a whole inclusion of Finn Balor in this, because right now it's hot and it works. I don't want it to be like an NWO thing where it's just like you keep adding people all the time. Like, I think it's fine now. It's great right now. It's so hot right now. Fans love it. They love booing Roman Reigns. They love cheering AJ Styles. They love Anderson, Gallows. They're starting to turn on the Usos, and that's just because of their relation to Roman Reigns, always being Roman's savior. It's kind of bad for the Usos, I guess, but everyone else, it's kind of cool. And it works for me, and I don't mind seeing them having another match at Extreme Rules, but we'll mention that. And we'll mention it now, because after this match, the pay-per-view ended in the back locker, in the backstage area, where Vince McMahon basically said, "Okay, guys, what's next?" to Stephanie and Shane. Stephanie started talking about Extreme Rules. Shane cut her off and said, "Yes, AJ versus Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules in an Extreme Rules match." So that's what we get. The people in control of Monday Night Raw made a match for Extreme Rules, where it's an Extreme Rules match. So that's, I guess, another form of an anything goes match, but they could have done a little bit better with the wording of it. I don't remember past Extreme Rules, but I thought I remember everything having a stipulation, and not just calling a match an Extreme Rules match, where it's like no DQ, anything goes. I do remember some of those, but I thought Extreme Rules, the whole point of it was everything had a stipulation, but we'll see what the other matches have. Overall, I do give this pay-per-view a B, and a Kevin Owens in a JBL hat pointing to the camera out of 10. It was good. There were great matches on this card. Ryback, the Ryback looked good. Owens, Zayn, Ambrose, Jericho, Reigns style. I mean, all those matches I felt like they delivered, and they were entertaining. B- is a better grade than I normally give, but it was overall a good pay-per-view. Where it did lack, though, was the whole women's match, the reenacting of the screw job. I just don't like it. I just jamming Hall of Famers or family members into these matches. You know, at Extreme Rules, we're probably going to get Charlotte versus Natalya again. I think we are, with Ric Flair banned from ringside. But then, so it'll be one-on-one. It'll be a good match. And then in June, we'll probably get Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, with Bob Backlund in Becky Lynch's corner as her life coach. And he's going to probably throw in the towel as soon as she gets put in the figure eight. So that's probably it. But make sure you let me know what you guys think of Payback. It's been a couple days since I watched it. I don't remember exactly everything, but I do remember most of it. Let me know what your favorite points were, what your low points were, and what you like going forward, what you'd be interested in. Also, make sure to check out the GNWC Weekly podcast show on YouTube, GNWC Official, links below. Throw me a like if you enjoyed this. Subscribe. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/AngryLarry, and Twitter @LarryIsAngry. And I will talk to you guys after Extreme Rules. Take care.